Hey, what is going on YouTube? Running on Sports back here with another video. Today is our NFL Week 3 review. A very great week for the National Football League. Full 16 games. Last time we will see full 16 games until the week, I believe it is week 13 that a week 14 actually now because of the 18 weeks. Week First time or the last time until week 14 that we'll see a full 16 game NFL slate. So that that means we got a lot to talk about. So if you have not already, please subscribe to our channel and leave a like down below. Share this with your friends. Follow our social media pages at runninggun_sports on Instagram and at runninggunsports on TikTok. And with that being said, let's get right into the video with the Thursday night football game. Panthers taking care of business in Houston, 24-29, the final score of this game. And Sam Darnold played pretty good, I'd say. 23 of 34, 304 yards. And DJ Moore had a very nice game, 8 receptions, 126 yards. And Brandon Cooks for the Houston Texans, one of the few bright spots, had a nice game, 9 receptions for 112 yards. The Washington football team versus the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills rout the Washington football team. Taylor Heineke did not play his best game, throwing 2 interceptions and 10 incomplete passes. Antonio Gibson had a decent game with 104 total yards and a touchdown. Josh Allen had a great game, 32 of 43, 358 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Cole Beasley, a nice game, 11 receptions for 98 yards. The Bears versus the Browns. This game was pretty close for really the first half, and the third quarter was kind of close, but the Browns pulled away in the late third quarter, and the Bears offense looked terrible. Justin Fields clearly could not get it done. He had a terrible game, 6 of 20 for 68 yards. Baker Mayfield, 19 of 31, 246 yards, a touchdown. Not his best game either. Not Nick Chubb's best game either. Odell Beckham Jr.'s first game and a very long time, 5 receptions, 77 yards, so a decent return for him. The Ravens versus the Lions. Justin Tucker breaks the NFL record for longest field goal, a 66-yard field goal off the goalpost, the crossbar, and then hit off the crossbar and went straight up and then went in. Just one of the craziest plays we've seen in the modern history, and just a very close game and just a devastating loss for the Lions. Mark Andrews had a very nice game, 5 receptions and 109 yards. The Colts versus the Titans. The Titans improved to 2-1. The Colts 0-3 on the season right now. Not the start that they had intended for, but they've also played some pretty good teams: Seahawks, Rams, and the Titans. So, I think that helps them as we look at them as a team. But Carson Wentz did not play very well, 19 of 37, 194 yards. But the offense really just could not get it done, and it started with Carson Wentz. And it wasn't that big of a win or a loss for either team, but the offense was struggled, and Ryan Tannehill didn't play his best game with 2 interceptions. And they had Derrick Henry in the end to run the ball out, run the clock out, and that helped them out big time in this game. The Chargers versus the Chiefs. The Chargers pull off a massive upset to beat the turnover prone Chiefs. A lot of turnovers. Patrick Mahomes, 2 interceptions, and he was outplayed by Justin Herbert, which is something I don't think I would ever expect to hear myself say. Justin Herbert's 26 of 38, 281 yards, 4 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, 27 of 44, 26 yards and 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, but as I mentioned, 2 interceptions. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 17 carries, 100 yards. Travis Kelce, 7 receptions, 104 yards. And Tyreek Hill, 5 receptions, 56 yards. And for the Chargers, Mike Williams had one of the best games this week. 7 receptions, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he played so well. And, the final touchdown that they scored, they knew that he was the guy that was just beating his dude that was covering him, and so they went to him on the play and they got him, and they won the game. So good coaching, good play calling by the Chargers. The Saints versus the Patriots. This is a game that I thought would be a lot closer, and Jameis Winston played pretty well. 13 to 21, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Mac Jones really struggled for them. The running game was a huge, I don't know what you want to call it, a huge problem for them. The lack of, I should say. Mac Jones, 30 of 51, 270 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. And they had to pass that many times because the running game did not get done. Mac Jones was the leading rusher with 6 carries and 28 yards. Kendrick Bourne had a nice game though, 6 receptions, 96 yards, and a touchdown, but not a good game for Mac Jones. The Saints defense just too much for him at the end of the day. The Falcons versus the Giants. Younghoe Koo, game-winning field goal in the end for the win. The Giants 0-3. Just not looking like a good team. Saquon Barkley's not been playing the greatest either. And Matt Ryan, 27-36, 234 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The Bengals versus the Steelers. The Bengals beat the Steelers, and the Steelers are not looking like the best team right now, like they were last season with the 11 game win, 11-0 start, and they did not look that good at all. And they just, this season, I don't know what's wrong with them, but the Bengals, they lost to them once last year, and this year Burrow played a pretty good game. 14 of 18, 172 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception though. And Jamar Chase, 4 receptions, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ben Roethlisberger, 38 of 58, 318 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Najee Harris had a really nice game though. One of the positive points for the Steelers team, with 28 total touches, 142 yards. So good game for Najee Harris, one of the only positive parts of that team. The Arizona Cardinals versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kyler Murray did not play his best game. 28 of 34, 316 yards, and an interception. Neither did Trevor Lawrence, though, and he has been struggling big time so far with 7 interceptions in only 3 weeks. So that's over 2 interceptions per week. But Lawrence, 22 of 34, 219 yards, a touchdown, and the 2 interceptions, as I mentioned. James Robinson had a nice game rushing the ball, 15 carries, 88 yards, a touchdown. And A.J. Green had a very nice game with 5 receptions, 112 yards for the Cardinals. The Broncos absolutely destroyed the Jets, 26-0. The Broncos 3-0, looking really good right now. But how good are they really if their opponents, all their 3 of their opponents, their total record is 0-9. So we don't know how legit the Broncos are or not. I think a lot of it is the competition that they've been playing is not good. Jacoby Brissett leads the Dolphins to Las Vegas and almost pulls away a upset, and did not. Jacoby Brissett, 32 of 49, 215 yards. Derek Carr, 26 of 43, 386 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Peyton Barber had a very nice game, 23 carries, 111 yards, and a touchdown. And Brian Edwards had a nice game, 3 receptions, 89 yards, and Daniel Carlson's field goal wins the game for the Raiders. The Rams versus the Buccaneers. This was a game that I thought would have been a lot closer. Really was not, but wasn't a blowout by any mean, but was not the closest game. But Matthew Stafford outdueling Tom Brady 27 to 38 of 38, 343 yards, 4 touchdowns. Tom Brady 41 of 55, 432 yards and a touchdown. Tom Brady leading rusher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3 carries, 14 yards and a touchdown. And Mike Evans had a nice game, 8 receptions, 160 yards. Deshaun Jackson showing he still has it at a very old age, 3 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown. The Seahawks versus the Vikings. The Vikings, man, they came to play. The Seahawks did not come to play. That's really all that I could say about this game. The Seahawks, normally they play bad in the first half and end up playing good in the second half, but by golly, it was the opposite of that. They started out pretty well and they just fell off. The defense, definitely a problem, especially the secondary, leaving Justin Jefferson wide open. And they made Kirk Cousins look like Patrick Mahomes out there. It was ridiculous how wide open these guys were and how bad their tackling was. Kirk Cousins, 30 of 38, 323 yards, 3 touchdowns. Alexander Madison, 26 carries, 112 yards. Justin Jefferson, 118 carries and a touchdown. Just a absolute, just a incredible amount of yards for everyone all around, and just not a good game for the Seahawks. The Packers, led by Aaron Rodgers late in the game, with 33 seconds, they go down the field to kick a field goal and to win the game 30 to 28. What a game. Never bet against Aaron Rodgers, and just the way he's able to lead the team down the field so quickly, and just that was a really good game. And but Aaron Rodgers leading his team down the field was impressive. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Dak Prescott played very well, 21 of 26, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott also played well, 17 carries, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Dalton Schultz, 6 receptions, 80 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys offense just outscoring the Eagles offense, and the Eagles offense struggled a decent amount. So that will wrap it up for today's video. If you guys have not already, please leave a like down below, subscribe, share us with your friends. Thank you guys so much for watching.